फिल्म है द कश्मीर फाइल्स, इसने एक वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड बनाया है पहली बार विश्व के इतिहास में।
मैंने सोचा नहीं था कि मैं किसी चीज में वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड तोड़ूंगी, लेकिन मैंने तोड़ दिया है।
वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड बनते देखना अपने आंखों के सामने बड़ी बात है, वो भी जलेबी का वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड।
मेरी कंपनी कैरबे वाटर एंड सोडा ने इंटरनेशनल बुक ऑफ रिकॉर्ड में अपना नाम दर्ज कर लिया है।
वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड की हैट्रिक बना के अपना नाम इंटरनेशनल बुक ऑफ रिकॉर्ड्स दर्ज करवा जा रही है।
नमस्कार, आई एम डॉक्टर रेनू रनावत पाटीदार। मैं कैम्ब्रिज इंटरनेशनल स्कूल दसूया एज अ प्राइमरी हेड कर रही हूँ। इट्स बीन एन ऑनर टू बी अ पार्ट ऑफ दिस एजुकेशन फर्टर्निटी। इट्स बीन अ लॉन्ग एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ 20 years. If I talk about my personal life, I come from a well-educated family. My father retired as an additional SP from the police service, and it is his influence which has made me strive for academics. I have been a bright academic child since my childhood. If I further add to my family, I have a loving husband and a adorable child. He is doing his MBA and is about to complete his studies and would be soon stepping into this global world where he will be exploring his possibilities. And I pursued my graduation. Then I did my post-graduation in MA English Literature. After that, I wanted to tribute the further studies to my father because he always wanted me to become a doctor. There were certain conditions where I could not become the medical doctor. So then I thought, let me be an academic doctor. So then based on that, I decided to go for my PhD. I enrolled for PhD in English Literature and I completed my PhD. And this PhD degree I tribute to my father. After that, it's been almost 20 years that I've been teaching. I've been working with various reputed CBSE schools which have brought in too many experiences, and that is an enriching journey for me. As a child, if I talk about my journey regarding academics and other various skills which I have acquired during the due course, I remember very fond memories of my very young age as a kindergarten child where I was not ready to go to school. I would always want my attendant to be there around. I had a privileged childhood where I had a personal attendant who would take me to school, and I would want that attendant to be around as long as I was in the school. If my attendant would leave the campus for some reason, I would also leave the classroom and insist to go back home. This is very fond memory which I remember, that how children are and how they grow. So slowly as time passed, I got to come to Indore because my father, as I mentioned, he was in the police service. Very frequently he would get transferred. So I started my schooling in a very small town. Later we came to Indore, which was a comparatively very big place. I got admitted in one of the very reputed CBSE schools in the kindergarten and was enjoying my academics and this new life, which was all about big things for a child. But again, as I mentioned, transfers happen very frequently. Within 6 months of my new joining, I had to change school. And changing of school could not happen in the midterm, so I completed, and at that tender age of maybe 6 years, I traveled almost 1 hour every day to and fro along with my attendant to complete my kindergarten. That was a tough time for me to travel too much. Facilities were less, and it was too tiring for my attendant also because he had to manage household also and manage me also to take me to the school, complete my day's work and get me back home. So it was difficult seeing the challenges which I continued for 6 months. My parents realized that it will be too difficult for me to continue my studies in this manner. So they wanted me to engage in one place so that I could use my time wisely. So I was enrolled in St. Mary's Convent in Mau, which was the renowned school of that time, and it was run by nuns who had extreme talent and compassion for the girls. So I joined in grade 1, and from there I completed my plus 2. So it's been a very fruitful journey for me where I learned so many skills. If I just reflect back on the journey, I recall that other than academics, there were so many skills which I learned. Special memory which I remember is learning embroidery. In the school, missionary schools, we do have these skills. So learning embroidery was such a beautiful experience. I remember making handkerchiefs and tablecloths, even doing knitting, making some baby suits and shoes and caps, all those things. I also remember making the table mats made out of cross stitch and meaty work. I also had made one sling bag, cushions, pillows. So starting from grade 4 going till grade 10th, every year there was one skill which was acquired, and that has left such a lasting impression that later when I had free time, I embroidered my own suits, my night suits, and even saris. So I relish learning certain things and enjoying all those things. And now when I see this young generation, they don't know even how to thread a needle, where I can do a number of things. And that later on came in as one of my other skills where I learned stitching as well. So this was one thing which I learned in school. Later I learned dance also, though I could not master that skill, but still that interest was there. I learned that. I was very fond of aerobics and fitness, so I joined aerobic classes as well. When it comes to college time, in college I wanted to use my free time, so I started reading much. Then as a part learning, I enrolled myself for a painting class. So I learned painting for 2-3 years. I would say I'm not skilled, but to some extent I make beautiful paintings. I'm very good with my skill of painting, where I have tried different mediums like water, oil and fabric, and I have learned pretty well. So I always believed in learning new skills every time. I professionally joined courses for cooking, baking, and other items, and I was good at that also. So when it comes to learning the skill, it's not about how well you do it, but it's acquiring the skill and trying your luck. Sometimes you succeed, sometimes you may not succeed, but you later have no regret saying that I did not try. So I did try many things, and most of them have added to my persona, and I proudly say that I know these skills, and if I don't know those skills or maybe have not mastered those skills, I have the basic idea of those skills. As the studies were fruitful, because for that I would again be very thankful to my parents, because they decided that what challenges I faced in my kindergarten life should not be there for me in further years. So they decided to stay separate in the sense that mother would be stationed at one place and father would be posted in and around the place. So it was such a joy for me as a child that 5 days, 6 days I would be in school learning certain things, in college learning certain things, but weekends I would look forward to go to dad so that I could meet him. He was excited because as a family we would rejoice, get together on weekends like Saturday, Sunday, and maybe sometimes we would even take off to spend more time with him. So it was such an enriching experience, and I'm very thankful that my parents sacrificed for the benefit of the children. And 3 of us, like we are 3 siblings, so my elder brother, I'm the middle one, and the younger sister, we all got the benefit of this sacrifice, and we got one good education background which was from that place, and that added to the journey and our personality so that we could be something in our lives, and always wanted to become something successful. What we wanted to become at that point was not very clear, but we knew that we had to be on our feet, we had to be independent, and this education is going to be the base for that. So we definitely owe everything to the parents and their sacrifice for this. Talking about my dreams and my goals, I would say that I was so much inspired by my teachers and my mentors during my schooling days that there was no second doubt. I always wanted to be a teacher. I've always wanted to do something for the society so that I can help people in various ways. Of course, there were certain aspirations of the family. As I mentioned, my parents wanted me to become a doctor, but I could not pursue that. But I, in my mind, had the very clear picture that I wanted to do something in education field. So from that particular point, I started moving in that direction. That is how my graduation, post-graduation and other degrees added to it. I would say that taking inspiration from the people who come in your life, how well they touch upon you, how well they influence you, these are the learnings which happen beyond the classrooms. And those were the skills, and that is why when I talk about my other skills other than the academic skills, they have definitely groomed me in a personality which fits in best for a teacher, because when a teacher steps in the class, she touches the many children in the class. So where we talk about our own journey, we talk about our own challenges, children admire us because we are the role models for them. So when they listen to us, they listen to our success and failure stories, they understand that yes, teachers are also human. Teachers also have life, teachers also feel that pain, teachers also have faced sacrifices and challenges. So we actually embody a living model for them, and they learn from us, get encouraged, and want to do something similar to us. They may not take teaching as a career option, but they will definitely take inspirations from our life, from our experience, and that will definitely add to whatever life and career they have or the destiny has planned for them. So I would say destiny had the plans for me in this direction only. The very first teaching started soon after my graduation, and it was an offer which came from front. I never went around looking for a job. It came to me. I was already helping the underprivileged at that time. I was giving them tuitions. I was helping them in reading, writing skills, math skills, and also personally developing their confidence and emotional support because they were not all from the very good background. So I was working on them as just a part-time skill. But as this offer of the first job came in, I took this job, and that was the beginning of the journey, because in my heart I knew I had to become a teacher only. So it started from there, and as I joined I realized that I need to polish my skills further. So I started doing my post-graduation after that. Later I did my bachelor in education degree also. That was also a very difficult time for me because my child was very young at that time. We were going through so many changes because my husband was changing his job and going through financial crisis at that time. So there were challenges regarding a young child, husband doing certain changes in his job and profession, and other things. That was the time, I would say, was the hardest time which I faced in my life, and somehow I managed to do my best at that time also. Completed my B.Ed and continued working and acquiring skills every year, every school, so that I don't have to ask for help or look for help here and there. I wanted to always be independent, and that is how I was always the first one to learn certain skills and even help. If I talk about my current situation also, even if I'm heading the school, I don't doubt the teacher's potential. I know teachers are doing their best. They just need guidance, they just need a helping hand, and sometimes they just need a word of encouragement. So that takes them beyond. So continuing with my teaching journey and helping my family in terms of growing and financial stability, I somehow managed to be very stable with my work, and I was able to come to this level where I am now heading a school, leading a team. There are more than 2,000 children where I'm leading that particular primary block, and there are many teachers who are benefiting with my experience and they are working excellent under my guidance. Okay, talking about my experience, there is no big teacher than life. Life teaches you so many things which the books or the curriculum cannot teach you. So, as I mentioned earlier, my journey as a child was really difficult because I had to travel to complete my kindergarten, which sounds very kiddish now, but that was a very big learning experience for me. I learned from my attendant that how he manages time, how he manages to get up early in the morning, finish household duties for him, then takes me, travels with me, waits for me to finish my day, brings me back, and again continues with his evening duties. So I was too much inspired by how dedicated as a person he is. That was one experience which has influenced me too much. I also understood that I should also have some routine. So I have always had a routine life where my things from morning to evening were all scheduled. They were followed to the point, which helped me to groom myself in many ways. Similarly, if I talk about my father, as he was a policeman, he was actually beyond duty hours, working, maintaining files, documenting everything, on emergency duties, on VIP duties. So I have seen him work beyond duty hours. He was always dedicated for his service, and family became a secondary thing for him. So I also understood one thing from him: service first, family comes second. There could be emergencies, of course, that time the role reversal is there, possibility is there. But once you are in service, whichever field you work, you have to give importance to the service first. That brings multiple roles of being punctual, being responsible, getting the responsibility of documentation, grooming other people, preparing others for leadership role. And in all these things, what I have understood is communication is a very, very strong aspect. Communication helps you keep things clear. It helps to avoid any misconceptions or any relationship issues. If you have a clear communication within the work system or within the family, you will never face any problems. So you have to understand that these life experiences nobody is going to teach you. There will be certain practical times when you will be learning these things. Then when it came to my time when I was doing my PhD, that was a very time taking exercise. Of course, there was too much of academic learning in that, too much of literature and other things. But again, two things which I learned from my family at that time was selflessness. My young child at that time was so selfless. He never demanded anything. He did not even demand food. He did not demand time. He did not demand my attention. He knew that Mama is busy. Mama is doing her work. She need not be disturbed. So he was on his own. He would remain quiet. The TV volume would be very low at home. He would not come in the room where I was studying and doing my thesis. He would remain away from me during the time when I was doing my thesis. So for a young child of 10 years to understand all these things and to cooperate was such a big thing. So that was when I understood that as a child he's so accommodating, he's so cooperative, and that creates the love and affection multiple folds for him. The same was for my husband. He was so supportive in the entire journey, whether it was household things, whether it was office work, whether it was communicating and documenting things at the university. He was always there to support me. And the inspiration which comes, like there are people who nag you in the way, they nudge you that why are you doing this, what is the benefit out of it. So negativity comes in. But when you have a strong family and you have strong friends around who support you, they help you acquire anything, then the sky can be the limit. So these are the basic life experiences which I have learned, and because of these life experiences, I have always seen myself as a person who stands out of the crowd. I follow my instinct, I take my work seriously, I do things with responsibility, and with all these learnings, one thing comes very easy is acceptance. If I have done something good, of course it comes naturally. If I have done something wrong, the acceptance for that is also there, that yes, I accept my mistake, I am ready to improve, I am ready to learn, I am ready to show you the best which is possible. So these are the life experiences which have really helped me groom myself to this extent and do the best, and I am still open to learn. I would say I am still a learner. I still want to learn more. I still want to read many things. And every year I feel that I should set a new target now. This interview has given me that insight that let me have a target every year. Let me maybe decide to be fit, or maybe decide to read more, or maybe to write more, or to acquire certain skills. So this is a turning point, I would say, where it gives me time to reflect on my life, my experiences, my challenges, and where things I have left half the way. I want to continue them now, and I would definitely bring about a change in my own life. From this platform, I would like to give the message to all parents, teachers, and my dear students that always continue to learn in your life. Be a lifelong learner. The child should learn, the parent should learn, and the teacher should learn. Here, child is doing the best, whatever is possible for the child. The only conditioning comes from the parent, that they limit the imagination of the child. So I would request the parents not to limit the creativity of the child. Let them think, let them explore the new possibilities, because whatever career prospects which are available in the current scenario will not be there in the future. If we talk about banking, if we talk about hospitals, if we talk about teaching, everything will be changed in the coming years. So anything which is true to the current profile will not be applicable when the child who is joining school right now in grade 1 and in the next 12-15 years completes the studies, acquire certain skill sets, and maybe after 15 years when the child joins the service sector, the job prospects will not be the same, the skills required will not be the same. So the only message for parents is to understand that don't think what you did in your childhood. This child is the next generation. So let the child use the new skills, acquire the new ideas which are available, and let the child have the choice to decide. Decision making is a big challenge. So let the child decide what are the possibilities, what are his or her likings, and whatever best support you can provide in terms in that journey, you should give that. And teachers, of course, are doing their best in terms of providing academic and other skills to the child. Keep doing your duty honestly. Keep checking that the child is emotionally happy about things. And when there's a happy environment, a child learns well. So, a loud message to everyone in the society that let children do what they aspire for. Just be a part of their journey, help them and support them so that they can touch the skies. Thank you, everyone.